across the South Pacific to discover true paradise. Ours was an epic adventure of glory and sacrifice against warriors and elements. We took to the islands and found home in the rolling waves and the tropical side of the sun. Come and journey with us. We will take you to the remarkable islands of Polynesia.
ladies and gentlemen. Let's get one more giant round of applause for the athletes of the Huntsman World Senior Games.
And how about Siva Pacifica for their parade entertainment?
Tonight, the Washington County Sheriff's Office Explorers will present the flag of our host country, the United States of America.
The national anthem of the United States will be sung by Melinda Larson, after which the invocation on the evening and the games will be offered by Huntsman World Senior Games Board of Trustees Vice Chair Doug Labrum. Yesterday morning, during the first game of the day, we lost one of our Huntsman World Senior Games family members, Jack Searle. Jack played softball with us for 19 years. He loved the games, and he will be missed. Clint Searle, Jack's son, as well as his brother, is here tonight, representing his father and family, along with his team, Zone 75. We hope that with Doug, you will offer your own prayer in your heart for Jack and his grieving family and team. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the colors.
Father in heaven, on this beautiful night here in St. George, Utah's Dixie, we thank you for the great opportunity that we have of being able to be together and to celebrate and participate in the Huntsman World Senior Games. We're very thankful for this opportunity, and we ask you to bless all of us, the participants, the volunteers, all of us that have come here to honor each other. that this will be a great time and will be protected from harm and accident. This night, Father, we mourn the loss of one of our own, Jack Searle. His 19 years with us at the Huntsman World Senior Games brings many memories to many of us. And we ask thee to please bless Jack's family, that they will have peace, that this will be a time for them to remember him and the great time and the friendship that he gained from the games. This night, Father, we also ask thee to watch over all of us. Be with us as those that participate will do what they have trained and planned for so long, that they'll feel satisfied, that they'll gain from the friendship, the peace, the health that comes by being a member of the Huntsman World Senior Games. Now, Father, as we go throughout this period, these 2 weeks, watch over each of us. And as each of us depart to our various homes, wherever they may be, may we remember the love that we gained here. May we remember the friendship, that we'll be able to use that friendship to help bring peace in this world. Peace we need. This peace that we enjoy through the Huntsman World Senior Games. Again, Father, bless us all. Help us that we might be a guiding light to the rest of the world. And we offer our prayer unto thee in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you so much to Melinda Larson, the Explorer Post, and to Doug Labrum for that beautiful prayer and invocation on our evening and on our games. I mentioned the great team earlier, and if there's one thing that I've learned over my years with the Huntsman World Senior Games especially, it's that these games are definitely a team sport. And just like on your own softball, volleyball, basketball, soccer teams, each player has an important role to play. When everyone does their part, that's when the magic happens. Some of the most valuable players on our team are the incredible sponsors that help make these games happen. These games would not be possible without their help and support. Let's take a moment and recognize the Huntsman World Senior Games medal sponsors. First, our bronze medal sponsors: AARP, Brigham Young University, Brio, Canyon Media Corporation, Cherry Creek Media, Dixie State University, the George S. and Dolores Doré Eccles Foundation, Highlands Incorporated, The Spectrum, and Washington City. A round of applause, please, for our bronze medal sponsors. Thank you to our silver medal sponsors: the Dixie Center, Intermountain Livewell Center, Larry H. Miller Group of Companies, Sun River St. George, Utah Sports Commission, and Washington County Sports and Outdoor Recreation. A round of applause for the silver medal sponsors. And thank you to the City of St. George, our gold medal sponsor. Please, a round of applause for St. George City. And let's express a special appreciation to our principal sponsor, the Huntsman Corporation and the John Huntsman family. Without their support, I guarantee that the Huntsman World Senior Games would not be what it is, which is the largest event of its kind on planet Earth. So thank you to the Huntsman family. Now, continuing our team analogy, every team needs a leader, a quarterback, someone who just gets the job done. When it comes to our opening ceremonies tonight, these guys fill that role. Our entertainment tonight has been produced, directed, and choreographed by Brian and Melinda Larson. Together, they own and operate Diamond Talent Performing Arts Studio. Can we please get a little love and recognition for this dynamic duo? Joining the Diamond Dancers is Lita Little Giddens and her daughters, Camelin and Grayson. Lita is the co-founder of the Sunlight Works Foundation, where her focus is to use clinical principles and the expressive arts to cultivate personal development. Camelin is a graduate of Brigham Young University, and Grayson is a junior at Utah Valley University. I'm also pleased to introduce to you Daryl Tofa, a Diamond Talent alumnus, also joining us tonight. He is a senior at the University of Oklahoma, and many of you returning athletes will remember seeing him as he grew up right here on this field, performing in the opening ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen, performing a medley of songs from Broadway's recent hit, Once on This Island, as well as our theme song, originally recorded by Jason Mraz, Have It All, please welcome Lita, Camelin, and Grayson Giddens, along with Daryl Tofa and the Diamond Talent Dancers.
Oh gods, please be there. Don't you remember your little Tim Moon from the tree? Wake up, look down, hear my prayer. Don't single me out and then forget me. Oh gods, let me fly. Send me to places where no one has been. You spared my life, show me why. You get me to rise like a fish to the bait, then tell me to wait. Well, I'm waiting for life to begin. Waiting for life once more to begin. We live on a planet where rivers run deep, where the sun sparkles in the sea. We represent all people from all lands, so many different cultures and countries, different kinds of people with different beliefs and different ways. We bring our dreams together and gather in peace as friends and athletes to the Huntsman World Senior Games. We dance to the earth, we dance to the water. The gods awake and we take no chance. Our hearts hear the song, our feet move along, and to the music of the gods we dance. We dance to the earth, we dance to the water. The gods awake and we take no chance. Our hearts hear the song, our feet move along, and to the music of the gods we dance to the earth, we dance to the water. The gods awake and we take no chance. Two different worlds are never meant to meet. But if the gods move our feet, ha, we dance, we dance, we dance. the failures and the foolishness that'll lead us to the truth. The hopes that make us happy, the hopes that don't come true, and all the love forever was. I see this all in you. You are part of the human heart. You are part part of the human heart.
May you have auspiciousness and causes of success. May you have the confidence to always do your best. May it take no effort in you being generous, sharing what you can, nothing more, nothing less. May you know the meaning of the word happiness. May you always lead from the beating in your chest. May you be treated like an esteemed guest. May you get rest, may you catch your breath. And may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Whoa. And may the road less paved be the road that you follow. Whoa. Well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's for the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all. Oh, I want you to have it all. I want you to have it. I want you to have it all. May you be as fascinating as a slap bracelet. May you keep the chaos and the clutter off your desk. May you have unquestionable health and less stress. Having no possessions through immeasurable wealth. May you be the gold star on the next test. May your educated guesses always be correct. And may you win prizes shining like diamonds. May you really own it in each moment to the next. And may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Whoa. And may the road less paved be the road that you follow. Well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all. Oh, I want you to have it all. I want you to have it. I want you to have it all. Oh, I want you to have it all. All you can imagine. Oh, no matter what you practice, if you believe it, then anything can happen. Go, go, go. Raise your glasses. Go, go, go. You can have it all. I toast you. Here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all. Oh, I I want you to have it all. I want you to have it. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. Here's to always making me laugh. Here's to the fact that I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all.
That was awesome. We do want you to have it all. Let's have one more round of applause for these fantastic performers. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you St. George City Mayor John Pike. Mayor Pike was elected as mayor of St. George in 2013. He loves singing, playing the piano, organ, and guitar, as well as walking or biking on St. George City trails, and there are many of them. The mayor and his wife, Christy, have 5 children and 1 grandchild. Ladies and gentlemen, offering an official welcome to our community, Mayor John Pike.
Good evening. Isn't that a great opening ceremony, or the first part of that opening ceremony? Great music and dancing. Incredible, isn't it? As Kyle mentioned, I love music, I love sports, but I'd like to talk just for a minute about music as I welcome you. I couldn't help, as I was thinking about this today, to think about one of my favorite singing artists, Josh Groban. Do you know him? Yeah, you do. Well, you know probably which song I'm thinking about. It's one that he made famous, You Raise Me Up. And that's what these games do for me. And it's all about the athletes. And if you remember the first line and really the last line of the song, it's you raise me up to be more than I can be. And I think maybe the right words, especially in terms of what you do for me and for this community and all who are able to witness these games, you raise us up to all that we can be. And I think you do that for yourselves as well. But what it means to this community is just amazing. It inspires people to first volunteer to help in these games, and we have hundreds of them. And next, it inspires a next generation to follow you and know that they can be active and be competitive, as even the founder of these games, John Morgan, at age almost 95, right, John? In a couple of days. So thank you. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for coming to St. George. And on behalf of the city of St. George and all the cities here in Washington County, welcome to these Huntsman World Senior Games.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pike. That's a beautiful way to get us started off, and a beautiful welcome to a fantastic community. Spencer J. Cox was sworn in as Utah's 8th Lieutenant Governor on October 16, 2013. Lieutenant Governor Cox was born and raised in the town of Fairview, Utah. He and his wife, Abby, both come from large families and were raised on farms where they learned the value of hard work and collaboration. Spencer and Abby are the parents of 4 children, Gavin, Caleb, Adam, and Emma Kate. Offering a welcome to the great state of Utah, please welcome Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox.
Thank you, Kyle, for that very wonderful introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to spend some time with you tonight. Now, you need to know something about the Lieutenant Governor. I know you all study politics and you know everything about Lieutenant Governors, but for those of you that don't, my job is to disappoint people. You see, Governor Herbert wishes he could be here tonight, and usually he is here tonight. Unfortunately, he had another conflict, and I'm the lucky one that gets to spend the evening with you, and it is a perfect evening, so thank you for allowing me to be here. Now, the other thing you need to know is that St. George is a very special place, and you know that. For years, it has been Utah's best-kept secret. Unfortunately, that secret is getting out, but it's a secret we're excited to share with the world. And one of the reasons that secret is getting out is because of these very games. It's wonderful because of the weather, obviously. I'm expecting an inch of snow at my house tonight, so maybe I won't go home. But it's even better because of the people. That's what makes this place so special. It's also famous for being the heart of sport in Utah. As you know, of course, we have these games, but on Saturday, we also had a world-famous marathon, one of the best anywhere around. People come from all over to be here. I know that for many reasons. One, my parents flew out of the St. George airport on Sunday afternoon, and they were the only non-runners on that flight. They said they had never smelled so much Bengay in their life. But I tell you that because I need to share a brief story with you that will make you feel better about your athletic endeavors. A couple of years ago, my wife said, let's run the St. George Marathon. And I made the mistake of agreeing because that's what you do when you're married to my wife. And so I decided to do it, and I prepared like I had never prepared before. I worked out every day. I ran long runs every Saturday. I was more prepared and more in shape than I had ever been in my life. As race day came, I was so excited. I had my goals. I knew exactly what I wanted to accomplish, and I knew how long it would take me to get there, and we were ready to go. Now, keep in mind, I'd been training at my home up in the mountains, and it was usually about 45 degrees when I ran in the morning. It was a little warmer than that this weekend in St. George 2 years ago. In fact, it was warmer than normal even from here. When we started, it was about 65 degrees, which is a lot warmer than it was supposed to be up high where we started. And I ran fast, and I ran harder than I had ever run before, and I was loving life. I was passing people and high-fiving people, and people had signs encouraging me, and I thought, this is one of the greatest days of my life. And it was until mile 24. You see, it had gotten very warm by this time. It was about 85 degrees, and at mile 24, I hit what many runners refer to as the wall. I had heard about the wall. I had read about the wall. I assumed the wall was a thing. I didn't realize that an actual wall was better than this wall. As I hit this wall, my body stopped doing what my brain was telling it to do. And keep in mind, I had my goal, and I was a little bit faster than my wife, so she was behind me. She said, "You run ahead. I want to see you achieve your dreams," and off I went. Well, at about mile 25, my wife caught up with me, and she said, are you okay? And I said, yes, save yourself. Just go on without me. Tell the kids I love them, and hopefully we'll meet again on the other side. She continued on, running happily and merrily on her way. At this point, I began stumbling randomly. Now, I'm not a drinker. I don't know what it's like to be drunk. But there were people along that route that were sure that I had alcohol in those bottles I was carrying with me to hydrate. Because I started weaving back and forth, I was barely in consciousness. I started asking random people if I was going the right direction. There were people asking me, do you need help? I was telling my body to run, and my body was laughing at me. It was no longer possible to run. I just about stopped at about mile 25 and a half. And then I felt this arm around me and somebody kind of lifting me up. It was my wife. She'd come back for me. She got to the very end. She saw the finish line, and she thought, no, he needs me right now. And she turned around. She came back. She put her arms around me and helped me stumble to the finish line, and we finished together. She missed her goal to help me complete mine. Now, there's a lesson in this, and I don't need to share that lesson with you because you already get it. But that's the essence of sport. We compete, we train, we work hard, and then we lift one another. Athletes, as we work together, we lift each other up. That's what this world needs more of. What the world needs more of right now is the Huntsman World Senior Games. It needs men and women from different walks of life, from different states, from different countries, who speak different languages, coming together in a common goal. Working together, competing with each other, trying to beat each other, but then working together, lifting each other, giving each other a hug when it's over, and maybe literally lifting someone and helping them across the finish line. Now, I want to finish with this. On my way down here, I received a phone call from one of Utah's most famous athletes. He was calling for another reason, but was very excited when I told him that I was coming to speak to thousands of athletes from all over the world. You might know him. He played professional football. His name is Steve Young, one of Utah's favorites. And yes, I'm totally name dropping. Steve Young called me on the way down here and wanted to talk to me. Nevertheless, I asked him, I said, Steve, if there's anything I could tell all of these athletes, what would you have me tell them? And he got really excited and he said, tell them that the journey matters every bit as much as the competition. Tell them to not get caught up in winning and losing, but to get caught up in the spirit of joy. Tell them to continue living life to its fullest, and tell them that our senior athletes inspire me every day. I didn't have the heart to tell him that he now qualifies as a senior athlete for the Huntsman World Senior Games, but we are going to get him here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for who you are. Thank you for what you're doing. I have to finish with something you may not know about Utah. I have to brag just a little bit. It's kind of in the job description. But we have the #1 economy in the country over the last 2 years. We've led the nation in job growth 2 years in a row. We also are the fastest growing state in the country over the last year. We've been top 5 for a long time. We're now the fastest growing state for a couple reasons. One, we have more kids per capita than anywhere else in the country. We're really good at it. We practice a lot, and we have a lot of them. So congratulations, those of you who have kids. By the way, I have to say, we do lead the nation every year. Last year, South Dakota beat us. Do we have anybody from South Dakota? Yeah, a couple people. If you could come explain it to me afterwards. I did hear that alcohol was involved, but we'll talk about that later. We're also 9th for in-migration, so people are discovering Utah. But here's one of the reasons we're the fastest growing state. It's because in Utah, people are living longer than ever. Because people like you understand the joy of a full life. You're exercising, you're taking care of yourself, you're competing. That's creating longevity, and we're living longer than ever. So we're so excited you're here. We're so excited that you're helping us continue that very important trend. On behalf of the now 1.5 million people of the state of Utah, we welcome you. Good luck, and God bless you in everything you do. Thank you.
I'm proud to say that I live in one of, if not the only state in the United States of America where I can truly say my lieutenant governor is cooler than your lieutenant governor. We love Spencer Cock. He's great. Thank you so much for your message, for your inspiration. We're great. Do any of you, ladies and gentlemen, know this young man standing next to me right here? Now, Mayor Pike let the cat out of the bag just a little bit, but this is John Morgan, the founder of the Huntsman World Senior Games, chairman of the board, and the reason that we are all here tonight. And John is celebrating his 95th birthday the day after tomorrow. And so we decided that we would invite 11,000 of his closest friends to come to St. George and help him celebrate. And tonight, we need to sing Happy Birthday to John Morgan. Will you join me? Let's do it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you.
Hi, every one of you wonderful young people out there. I was there one time, but it's not carrying on too far, you know. Well, anyway, it's carried on just about 95 years, and 2 more days that'll be it. But you know, the greatest experience, I think, one of the very greatest experiences I've ever had is to be associated with this Huntsman World Senior Games. It was a great honor for me to meet with and work with John Huntsman, and I was cheering, and he was cheering a little bit louder because it really came about. And I just give all kinds of appreciation, not only for the Huntsmans, but for every one of you here tonight. I want to tell you that I'm grateful for you, and I honor you, and me and my family appreciate every one of you, and I say that thankfully. And that's about all, you wonderful people. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. You are awesome. You're more than welcome. I'm going to take you back to your seat. I just want to say thank you personally to John Morgan. He has made a difference in my life, and I know that he's made a difference in your lives as well. Can we just please get one more giant round of applause for John? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is really my favorite part of the show. Did you know that this year alone, there are 32 different countries represented at the Huntsman World Senior Games? 3 of those countries are brand new to the games this year. How about a warm Huntsman World Senior Games welcome to the athletes from Belgium, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Turkey. Did you also know that since 1987, when John and Daisy founded these games, we have hosted 80 different nations from all around the globe? Tonight, you will see a bright and colorful visual representation of what it looks like when we all work together to foster worldwide peace, health, and friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, our flag extravaganza.
This is our island in the sun. and gentlemen, the participating countries of the 2018 Huntsman World Senior Games. Albania. American Samoa. Argentina. Armenia. Australia. Azerbaijan. Bahamas. Barbados. Belarus. Belgium. Bermuda. Bolivia. Brazil. Bulgaria. Canada. Chile. China. Chinese Taiwan. Colombia. Costa Rica. Cuba. Czech Republic. Dominican Republic. Egypt. El Salvador. England. Estonia. Finland. France. Georgia. Germany. Greece. Guatemala. India. Iran. Ireland. Isle of Man. Israel. Italy, Japan, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Kuwait, Latvia, Lithuania, Malaysia, Mexico, Mongolia, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Philippines, Poland, Puerto Rico, Romania, Russia, Samoa, San Marino, Saudi Arabia, Scotland, Slovakia, South Africa, Spain, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Sweden, Switzerland, Trinidad, Tobago, Turkey, Ukraine, United Kingdom, Uzbekistan, Venezuela. U.S. Virgin Islands. Wales. The United States of America.
Isn't that amazing? When we say World Senior Games, we like to think that that means something, doesn't it? Thank you to each of these performers. Broadway composer Frank Wildhorn and lyricist Robin Lerner recently wrote a song called I Have a Voice. It's a powerful anthem for any kid, or adult for that matter, who's ever felt alone among his or her peers. It's an anti-bullying message, originally recorded by over 70 child Broadway actors. The Diamond Performers join in this quest for a world without bullying, a place where we all really do strive to foster peace. Welcome the Diamond Performers singing I Have a Voice.
I have a voice, simple and clear. It speaks the truth for all to hear. It gives me hope, it gives me faith. It lifts me up, it keeps me safe. I have a voice, it's mine alone. It comforts me, it is my own. Although it's small, I'm not afraid, for I am strong in its embrace. No one can say what I have seen or understand where I have been, for what I found inside myself belongs to me and no one else.
Wow, there is power in that message for sure. We're very pleased to have with us tonight, as the official representative for the John and Karen Huntsman family, Mr. David Huntsman. The Huntsman family, as you know, has generously acted as the principal sponsor of these games for the last 31 years. Through their generous support, this event has been made possible. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. David Huntsman.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow athletes, it's my honor to be here on behalf of the Huntsman family. But in particular tonight, it's a great honor to be here on behalf of my father, John Huntsman. My father loved these games. He was inspired by you, he was proud of you, and his spirit lives on, despite the fact that he passed away earlier this year. And I'd like to share with you a few things about my father. My father was a fighter. He didn't have an ounce of quit in him. He was a 4-time cancer survivor, and he built a global business from scratch, overcoming challenge and difficulties every step along the way. His favorite expression was, "Sweet are the uses of adversity," because he knew that every roadblock was just an opportunity to rise up and overcome. I think that's why he loved the Huntsman World Senior Games so much. He recognized in each one of you that same competitive spirit, that drive to push forward, to never give in, to never give up, that knowledge that difficulty was the one excuse that history would never accept. So on behalf of the Huntsman family, I commend you for your dedication, your determination, and your perseverance, and express our hopes that each one of you find joy and happiness in your involvement here at these games. On a personal note, I would simply say I came to my first Huntsman World Senior Games 30 years ago at the age of 20. And I remember thinking back then, I will never be old enough to participate. But this year, I'm glad to say that I'm not only a sponsor, I'm also a participant. And I look forward to it. May you be blessed with health and strength in all that you do. Our sincere best wishes. Thank you so much.
I got to say, I'm excited for David to be an athlete at the Huntsman World Senior Games. Isn't that the greatest? Thank you, David. To your father, to the Huntsman family. Without you, the games would not be possible. We say it, but it really is true. We appreciate your support. And in this spirit of gratitude, we turn our attention to honor and pay tribute to John Huntsman Sr., who, as we know, we lost earlier this year. His legacy lives on, and with this tribute, we remember John and all he generously gave to our community, the Huntsman World Senior Games family, and to the world.
Now I'm found blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. I see it was amazing grace. How sweet the sound saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, now I'm found. Blind, but now I see. It was grace, grace, hard time. Oh, how precious did that grace appear? That grace, how precious did that grace appear? The hour I first believed. Oh, I believe and I still that your grace has set me free. So unfaithful, but your love has come to cover me. Dangers, toils and snares I have already His grace brought many saints home. Yet your grace will still leave me We've been there 10,000 years, all bright shining as the sun. We've known endless days, then to sing God's praise. Saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, now I'm found. Blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, now I'm found. Blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, now I'm found. Was blind, but now I was blind, but now I
Thank you once again to these amazing performers, and thank you to John Huntsman Sr. Ladies and gentlemen, best-selling author and Hall of Fame speaker, Dan Clark.
The international speaker, No kidding. Achievers North America, Achievers Europe. Both of them named Dan Clark one of the top 10 speakers in the world. That's where I was born. He's one. He's a New York Times best-selling author. He's a singer. You gotta be kidding. He's a singer, an athlete, a songwriter, a philanthropist, a screenwriter, an adventurer. He's everything. He's funny. He's inspirational. Hey, he's Dan Clark. He's changing the world, one story at a time. Stay tuned.
Dan is the author of 21 books and a primary contributing author to the Chicken Soup of the Soul series, where one of Dan's world-famous stories was made into a film at Paramount Studios, starring the late Jack Lemmon. Dan's writing and speaking career began when he fought his way back from a paralyzing injury that cut short his football career. Zig Ziglar sponsored Dan into the National Speakers Association, and for 25 years mentored Dan to become one of the most sought-after speakers on the planet. Dan has headlined the largest stages in the world, working with Fortune 500 companies, Super Bowl champions, military leaders, and government rulers who continually seek Dan's thought leadership, counsel, and inspiration. In 2005, Dan was inducted into the National Speakers Hall of Fame. Dan's extraordinary life includes flying fighter jets with the Air Force Thunderbirds, catching 9.4 Gs, going Mach 2 at twice the speed of sound, racing automobiles at the Nürburgring, serving on the Olympic Committee, and carrying the Olympic torch in the 2002 Winter Olympics. Serving on the International Board of Governors Operation Smile, and soaring to the edge of space in a U-2 reconnaissance craft, where after a full day of training, accelerated to a classified altitude above 70,000 feet, and for 3.5 hours, gazed into the blackness of space, witnessing the breathtaking curvature of the Earth, and experienced a 15-mile-high perspective on things as they really are. As CEO of the Art of Significance Leadership Development Corporation, Dan has interviewed and hung out with the most celebrated personalities of our time, and has appeared on over 500 TV and radio programs, including Oprah and Glenn Beck, and on the cover of Millionaire magazine. But more important to Dan, and most significant of all, in 2012, Dan was named Utah Father of the Year. Truly a Renaissance man for all reasons, who will help you transform your life from success to significance. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mr. Dan Clark.
Hello, hello, hello. It's an honor to be here. My first introduction to the elderly mindset was when I was watching The Tonight Show many years ago when the host was Johnny Carson. On his program, he had a 107-year-old man, this fired up gentleman, and Johnny Carson says, it says here in your biography you're 107 years old, and the good old boy says, yes, I am. Johnny Carson says, it says here in your bio that you've been married 7 times. Old boy says, yeah, loved them all, just outlived them all. Johnny Carson says, it says here in your bio, your current wife is 35 years old. Aren't you afraid of a heart attack? Old boy says, hey, if she goes, she goes. When I had my 60th birthday, I finally started to understand this process of getting old. Can any of you relate? I bend over to pull up my socks and I think, what else can I accomplish while I'm way down here? Do any of you go to bed healthy and wake up injured and all we did was lay there? You wake up, your hips asleep, your foot hurts, you're like, hey, what's going on around here? I'm starting to stretch out in case something happens to me at 2 a.m. Since my arrival in St. George and through my life, I've been blessed to know people who have inspired me to take it to the next level, just like the Huntsman Senior Games. Mayor Pike from St. George, those of you who are residents in Washington County know how fortunate you are to have a gentleman who has conducted himself in a way where he has proven that he is the mayor to everyone. And I congratulate you, Mayor Pike, for the example you're setting to all political leaders everywhere to listen and to take action. I take a lot of pride sharing this stage and this event with the Huntsman family, especially with David, who's president of the Huntsman Foundation, having personal ties with the Huntsman family for many, many years. And to know that it's amazing what we all can accomplish when we don't seek the glory and when we don't seek the credit. And although we honor the Huntsman name this evening and all the philanthropy that they have provided for our great state of Utah, our great United States of America, and throughout the world, I'm here to just give you a little secret peek on the many, many, many unspoken, unseen things that the Huntsman family does to help all of us believe that anything is possible if we do believe. I want to acknowledge a buddy of mine by the name of Jeff Robbins, who runs the Utah Sports Foundation. I played football and baseball at the University of Utah, and Jeff was competing at the highest levels as an athlete in college, obviously as a professional. But to see what he's done with what he learned from sports to help our state welcome events like this and help provide the support necessary to remind us of what we learned from competition at every level. I want to acknowledge Pam at the St. George Area Chamber of Commerce, who understands the significance of doing everything we know how to do to make our businesses successful and succeed in every country that's represented here. I also want you to understand that in the last couple of days, I've had a chance to watch Randy Ayer, 80 years of age, and his tennis doubles partner by the name of Dewey Brinton in the doubles tennis match. To see these gentlemen diving for balls, running down that baseline ball. I want you to understand that my first experience over at the Dixie Center with the table tennis competition was when I interacted with two gentlemen from Georgia, Gerald Eccles and his buddy James Morris, who made me laugh and made me appreciate their age and their commitment to competing at every level, especially beyond the age of 50, which is the reason why we're here. May I pay tribute to anyone who is over the age of 50, who understands a couple of things that I've been raised to believe, that we've raised our 4 children to believe. Number one, today, you'll never be this old again. Today, you've never been this young before. So today and right now matters, and every right now matters, which means no matter what your past has been, you have a spotless future. Which means we can't always control what happens, but we can always control what happens next, regardless of our age. When I attended the University of Utah, it was the first day of my senior year. It was a chemistry class, so I knew as a dumb football player I was going to flunk the class. My cholesterol count is still higher than my SAT scores, so I knew it was going to be a struggle. But we athletes came in fashionably late, and you know how we walk. It's fun to see an 80-year-old guy taking his place on that softball field the other day. It took him 22 and a half minutes to stroll from his car to that stadium, and it wasn't anything to do with his bad knees, man. He had it going on. So my buddies and I, we stroll in fashionably late into this chemistry class. It was a huge auditorium, and the professor stands at the microphone and he says to all of us college students, I want you to immediately introduce yourself to someone that you've never met before. Before I can even take a stand, before I can even make a move, there's a hand on my shoulder. I turn around and it's an 87-year-old woman. Her name is Rose. She says, hey, handsome, want to get lucky? I say, yo, baby, I am all yours. And we start to talk. I said, what are you doing in college at 87 years of age? She says, you know, the usual. Get married, marry rich, have a couple of children, retire, travel, the usual. We became best of friends. Every day after class, we would share a chocolate milkshake at the Student Union building. And as the season and as the year progressed, Rose would be walking around campus, attending class after class. And every single day at about the noon hour, Rose would have to sit down to rest her weary legs. It was always at the library plaza, huge fountain, wind blowing the mist into our faces. And within moments, 100 to 200 college students would be sitting at the feet of Rose. It was then that I understood that when an old woman dies, an entire library burns to the ground. We must pick the brains and hearts and souls of the elderly. They are walking encyclopedias who have so much wisdom and so much experience that can help us make it through life. And in this aspect and in this environment, compete at the highest level to remind ourselves that no matter what our past has been, we have a spotless future. Rose was so inspirational. As a captain on the football team, I invited her to speak at our football banquet at the end of the year. Visualize Rose, 87 years young, oftentimes wearing a mini skirt around campus. 3 weeks into college, Rose got a tattoo. I was hoping it said Dan the Man. Wouldn't that have been cool? But instead it was a beautiful little teeny tiny Rose. I introduced Rose at our football banquet, and she stepped up to the podium. Rose is so nervous she starts to shake. She drops her speech. 3x5 cards go all over the floor. And in that moment, Rose taught us the difference between reaction and response. With her speech all over the floor, Rose leans up to the microphone and she says, "I'm sorry I'm so nervous. I gave up beer for Lent and this whiskey's killing me." Rose says, "I don't remember what my speech said, so let me just tell you what I know." She said, "Carpe diem with humor. Seize the day with a good laugh." Do you? Do we understand the significance of humor, especially in our relationships? The Senior Huntsman Games is more than a competition that brings the world together. It's a celebration of personal relationships. It's a celebration of families. It's a celebration of our most significant support systems at home. And as in competition, sometimes our relationships don't go exactly like we'd want them to. So let's celebrate that for a moment before I continue. Any of you believe that you got to get it right at home before you can get it right at work or at school or at play or in a competition? Yeah, we've got to eliminate the distractions so we can focus and concentrate. Reminds me of the story of preachers in the middle of a sermon, and the back door of the church slams open and in walks the devil. All the church members climb out the windows, the preacher slides out the back door, and one good old boy stays defiant in the church sitting on the bench. Devil walks up to him and says, "Apparently you don't know who I am." Good old boy says, "Yeah, you're Satan." Devil says, "Apparently you don't realize with one gesture I can have you cast to outer darkness." Good old boy says, "Yeah." Devil says, "Apparently you don't realize that with one word of my voice I can have you tormented for eternity." Good old boy says, "Yeah." Devil says, "And why aren't you afraid of me?" Old boy says, "Listen, I've been married to your sister for 42 years. And there's nothing you could ever do that would surprise or intimidate me." Let's celebrate the times we don't always succeed. Let's celebrate the times and the lessons we learn when we actually fall short. And that was the message of Rose all those years ago. Rose gets to the end of her speech at our football banquet, and what does she say to us football players? Visualize a sea of testosterone steroid poster children. Rose says, "Young man, as I've walked around this campus, I've noticed how many of you college athletes are still wearing your old high school athletic letter jackets." She said, "I wanted to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, yo, bro, I know you used to be a stud muffin hunk of burning love, but when your horse dies, dismount. You got to get a new horse. You got to dream a new dream. Giddy up, fire up. Isn't that what we're celebrating? Yeah. Rose concluded her speech by sitting down at the piano and performing that amazing song that had just been released by Bette Midler called The Rose. Unbeknownst to us, Rose had been battling cancer. 2 weeks after Rose walked across that stage, that university stage, to receive that diploma, to make that lifelong dream a reality, 2 weeks to the day after Rose received that diploma, Rose passed away peacefully in her sleep, and over 2,000 college students attended the funeral of this amazing woman who never did anything famous, never made a lot of money. She just made every single one of us leave her always saying, I like me best when I'm with you. I want to see you again. In my experience with my lovely wife Kelly here in the last few days, watching the competition, having an opportunity to interact with the sponsors tonight that make it all possible for all of us, and we need to acknowledge the sponsors collectively in this stadium. Thank you so much for seeing the vision and making sure that we can make our dreams come true. But as my wife and I have had a chance to attend these events and hear the stories that inspire all of us, I have to acknowledge one particular story that seems to tie a bow around our experience so far that should inspire all of us to continue on. In the Huntsman Senior Games, the year was 2006. The oldest participant so far was a 106-year-old gentleman who ran a 5K. Can you imagine? I'm saving my money up for liposuction and a tummy tuck. I can't relate. 106-year-old man runs the 5K. A few hundred yards short of the finish line, this 106-year-old gentleman stops and waits for his buddy, a 103-year-old competitor, to catch up. They grab hands, and together they run across the finish line as co-champions. That's what the Senior Games are all about. That, to me, is why we're here celebrating the excellence and the power of a dream. I would be remiss with the belief that I might not ever get a chance to address you again without sharing something that changed my life forever. I had a chance, as you saw in the video, to soar to the edge of space on October 23rd, 2010 in a U-2 reconnaissance aircraft. Because it is a classified mission, I can only tell you that at 70,000 feet above the Earth's surface, you see 2/3 of the state of California. At 80,000 feet, you see mapped outlines of America. And at 90,000 feet, you actually have a chance to gaze into the endless blackness of the universe and believe that you can reach out and touch the face of God. It was a spiritual experience I wish everyone on this planet could have an opportunity to witness. For almost 5 hours, I sat in the sounds of silence, looking at the curvature of the earth, gazing, as I said, into the endless blackness of space, pondering eternity and asking myself deeper questions that I think all of us need to pause and answer. For example, are we more than mere mortal beings living on a small planet for a short season? What is the purpose of life, and why are we really here? And you know what occurred to me, ladies and gentlemen, when we landed, what occurred to me is that everything we can take with us when we die, I had aboard with me on that aircraft. Our education, we don't learn to know, we learn to do. It's an honor to be on this magnificent Dixie State University campus, one of the great higher institution of learning institutions, if I can say that twice, not only in the state of Utah, but in our great country of America. We honor the opportunity to come on this campus and feel the success and the significance of knowledge. But part of the Senior Games helps us understand something very provocative. We don't learn to know, we learn to do. All the information in the world is going to make a person successful. It's like the guy who has 3 PhDs. One in philosophy, one in psychology, one in sociology. He doesn't have a job, but at least he can explain why. And if you didn't think that was funny, we have got to have a therapy session for you. This is a magnificent institution that reminds us through the Huntsman Senior Games that reason leads to conclusions, but it is emotion that leads to action. And competitive sports is what evokes and triggers more emotion than any other experience in our lifetime. The second thing we can take with us when we die is our character. How did we deal with adversity? Adversity introduces us to ourselves. I played football for 13 years total. One day in practice, the dream ended. We had a tackling drill. Coach blew the whistle. 2 of us ran into each other full speed. The only parts of our bodies that made contact, Lyle's helmet and his helmet in a 15-yard apart head-on collision lit me up like a Christmas tree. At 15 yards apart, we had a violent head-on collision. His helmet smashed into my helmet. My right shoulder was smashed into the cutting edge of my fiberglass pads, and we slammed to the ground. I had severed what is called the axillary nerve in my right deltoid muscle. I compressed the vertebrae in my neck, and I suffered a grade level 2 concussion, which just simply meant that I perspired, shook like a leaf, threw up multiple times, and cried myself to sleep. My eye drooped. I had loss of speech. I could not talk anymore. And my right arm dangled helplessly at my side with the right side of my body pierced with that penetrating, burning pain that eventually left me completely numb. To fast forward so I don't bore you this evening, I stayed paralyzed for 14 months. I went to 16 of the very best doctors in all of North America, and every single one of them told me I would never get any better. What happens if you believe that? You never get any better. And I hit rock bottom and didn't think I could get back up and go again. Now that I've recovered, people want to know what happened. My simple answer, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how tough our lives get, no matter how many times we fall or our relationships unravel to the point where we don't know what to do next, we never hit rock bottom. We only hit rock foundation. We only hit rock belief. We only hit the baseline core values and the bottom line governing principles on which we were raised. So my conclusion to this evening in my part on your program is the simple question, what do you really believe? And the Huntsman Senior Games remind us of the most significant and baseline beliefs that all of us must remember for the next 2 weeks and for the rest of our lives. It is not enough to say, I will do my best. We must succeed in doing that which is necessary. And in the words of a Navy SEAL that I had a chance to meet a couple of months ago, he said, an armored up warrior never has to get ready, he stays ready. And so as my wife and I have observed your competition just in the last couple of days, and as we anticipate the high level of competition in the 2 weeks that follow, what we've observed is that you did never take any time off. You did not take a time off. You have stayed physically fit. You have stayed ethically right. You have stayed in that complete mind and heart set which allows you to continuously get back up no matter how many times you've been knocked down. The third thing we can take with us when we die is our convictions. What do you believe? And the last thing I leave you with, the last thing we can take with us when we die, did our lives matter? Did we make a difference? Were we fully alive? Every single day, every single reason why. I stayed paralyzed for 14 months because I was asking the wrong questions. I was asking the doctors how to get better when I should have been asking myself why. And once we answer why, figuring out the how-to becomes clear and simple. And when our why is our own, which you have proven in your competition, when our why is bigger than our why not, we will continually get back up no matter how many times we're knocked down. And we will prove true again for the third time that no matter what our past has been, we really do have a spotless future. In that mindset, I congratulate all the athletes for participating, and thank you personally for the example you set for every single one of us to never say never. On behalf of everyone who has been in part of the planning committee and the organizing committee, I thank you. God bless your countries. God bless you. And as we celebrate the motto, challenging yourself and challenging the world, we are coming together to prove true that peace on earth is achievable through sports competition, and it begins and perpetuates in the Huntsman Senior Games. God bless you, and you have a wonderful day and evening.
Thank you, Dan Clark. That was amazing. Inspiration. Tonight, as we close our ceremonies, Melinda Larson will perform with the Diamond Performers to If I Dare. Melinda and her dancers will be joined by Diamond alumnus, Juilliard graduate, and Broadway performer Emily Tate. The torch to light our cauldron will be carried around the track by Mr. Kyle Allen, a student here at DSU and also a Diamond alumnus. As we come away from these games, let's be kind to one another, beginning in our own homes and in our own communities. Every positive thing we do radiates more positivity and continues to make a difference. Let's be the hands that carry out John Morgan's vision of fostering worldwide peace, health, and friendship. Thank you for celebrating with us tonight.
If I dare to ask it, then I dare it to be true. If I dare to risk it, then I know that I'm willing to. If I dare to want this, to want more than I have, then I dare to believe I'll have it in the end. You climbed a mountain, sent pictures of the view, and still can't believe when I started climbing too. You haven't heard that I'm not afraid to fall, and I'm not deterred yet until I tell them all I am holding out for more than what I have now. I'm holding out. I don't want your grief. I don't need your little scraps. I don't feel like this with what could get taken back. I don't need permission to rise up when it hurts. You don't have to listen, but you'll hear me bark my words. I am holding out for more than what I have now. I'm holding out, and the room is dark and quiet. There's a voice that's soft like someone's silhouette, saying, "Don't let me go yet."
Let the games begin.